Hello everyone, Richard Davey here. This is the remake of my Dead Space Remake modding series. I'm redoing it now because the first one is now pretty outdated, especially with all the advancements that have been and improvements that have been made to the editor. A lot of the workarounds and issues we had in the old series are now fixed or not nearly as inconvenient anymore as before. So I'm redoing it. And there has been a lot of improvements with the Dead Space modding community and Dead Space modding itself in general, which I will be going over in this series. Anyways, what has changed? What the fuck? Is I made my own fork of Hargap's Frosty tool suite. I made a ton of improvements which can be read on here. And I will probably be doing a pull request soon where everything will be like merged into Hargap's Frosty tool suite, so I will put both forks in the description. In this video, as of right now, I will be downloading this one from my fork. Later, if you're watching this in the future, you can check if Hargap's also got updated after January 9th, right here. Or actually, the April Fool's release. There was even an April Fool's release, which should be the newest one. Oh yeah, April 14th. But yeah. To mod Dead Space Remake, we're going to be using Frosty tool suite, which is the only and most advanced modding platform for Frostbite engine games, which Dead Space Remake, well, it runs on that engine, so yeah. The source code of the program we will be using is right here, and we're going to be downloading it. Now, if you are just a user and you just want to install mods, you will be downloading the Frosty mod manager. If you want to create mods, you will be downloading the Frosty editor. This is a tutorial series how to make mods. We're going to be downloading the Frosty editor. So you go ahead and download it. It releases here. And open it, ignore that, and extract it somewhere. I'll be extracting it right here. And once extracted, we will have a cache folder, which I already included the cache, so we won't have to generate anything. And here we have the software already. We're going to be opening it, the frosteditor.exe. This tutorial series will be a little bit faster. And now for you, it should be looking empty. I already had the Dead Space Remake profile, but we're going to be adding it. My game is in here. We're going to be selecting the Dead Space executable, adding it, and then it will ask for an encryption key. Now I cannot legally share, I cannot legally provide an encryption key, however, I will be leaving one in the description. And it's from FIFA 19, but you can use that one. And I'm also going to be using that one. So from here, it's in the description, or on the Discord as well. Discord is also in the description. Okay, done. And it will load the cache and everything. And now we are inside the software. I accidentally just clicked on online, whatever. So I'm gonna be showing you how the software layout is a bit and where everything is. So we have the typical top left buttons for everything. We can create a new project file, open ones, existing ones. We can look at recent projects you've opened if you already had any, save your project, and save as. We can also export mods into the .fb mod format, which is the correct format you should be shipping for Frosty Mod Manager. Frosty Mod Manager only accepts FB mod files, so later when you are done with your mods, you're going to be using this button mainly. But we are not going to be using this button while testing mods. We're just going to be compiling them. Then you can switch languages. For now, there's only like German and English, which is, well, German is not fully done yet, but I'm going to keep it as on English. And then we have the options. Here we have a ton of options. You should honestly leave everything as is. Here can be set a manual data backup path, which is used for compiling mods. But that's not necessary. This is for animations, which doesn't work yet, blah, blah. This is like, all of this right here is not that important just yet. Then we have close all documents. So when you've opened a lot of files and you want to close them all at once, you can do Control-D or just click here. Then we have some more tools which we can open right here: localized string editor, bundle editor, but these are all going to be important later. These are not important right now. So you can also combine projects. If you already have multiple object projects, you can import them into like one you're working on right now. And here is the button to compile a mod, so you can test it right away in game. And here is a button which will restore your game back to vanilla. Now, so basically, if your game is currently modded and, well, you want to just restore it back to normal, how it's shipped on Steam when you download it, you can use this button. However, the compile button does this step automatically on its own, so this is just kind of, I mean, I guess I would say it's unnecessary, but I still put it in here. This is actually a new button, which I added, but it's still good. Now, here are some convenient links. Dead Space Discord is right here. Changelog, outdated, unfortunately. The plugins which are installed right now. Then we have the log window, which tells us what the software tells us what happens and what errors there might happen if you try to do something and it fails. Then we also have bookmarks, which, well, we can select files in the Data Explorer and bookmark them, so you can quickly access them whenever you want. And then we have bundles, which I'm going to be explaining later in this series as well, and references, which is very important. I'm going to get to that in a minute. But yeah, the heart of Frosty Editor is here, the Data Explorer. About 99% of the important stuff is in the game folder. I'm going to be showing on screen like where everything is right now. I'm going to be taking like stuff from my older tutorial series right now. But basically, as of right now, we can mod nearly everything in this game. You can mod meshes. We can mod sounds, we can mod textures. Well, I mean, not everything. We cannot mod animations yet, unfortunately. We can technically edit the levels, but there's not like a level editor yet, like an actual level editor 3D one. So it is an absolute pain in the butt, but it is in theory possible. And a lot of other soft stuff in the game can be added. Tons of configs, UI, like so much more. But today I'm only going to be showing you guys how to navigate the software a little bit, right? So, for example, I'm going to be like creating a project right now, just so we can actually save one, right? I'm going to call this tutorial 1. And let's go ahead and find, for example, Isaac's level 1 suit mesh, right? That one is in assets, characters, bodies, and then level 1. Materials is not it, but it's in parts. And we can like scroll all the way down and find this. You can also sort the types if you want. We can find, these are the actual like mesh assets. We can view the level 1 source mesh. Isaac suit level 1 source mesh. The mesh viewer is going to open and, oh well, he's completely black for some reason. This is not how it's intended to be. But yeah, usually well, this is the Isaac's level 1 suit. Now these are the references that I wanted to talk about. Whenever you have clicked on a file in the Data Explorer, you're going to be seeing these so-called references, and what these do is just tell you what is connected, like where this, for example, in this case, this skinned mesh asset file is being referenced from or to. So references to means there's 2 other files which are referencing this mesh, or like, you know, have it included in their file. Well, by included, like, you know, calling it. And references from means that this mesh itself, in this case, this file is using these files as a part of it. For example, we can see right here it's using the LOD group, default LOD group, which is selected. We also find it here. We can click on it and then see what it is. I haven't even shown that there's also right-clicking on everything, of course. you can, in references, you can right click on stuff and open asset or find in Data Explorer. So if I want to, I mean, it says right here where it is, but if I want to know, if I want to find it in Data Explorer automatically, it's going to lag for a bit, but then it should find it automatically. And it did find it, and we are already automatically in the folder, which is great. And here we can see like that there's a ton of files referencing this. And if I, for example, open this mesh right now, find the Data Explorer, I can see that this one has also references, right? In the Data Explorer, you can also right-click files, and there's also several functions here. So there's open and open unmodified, which means, well, I mean, open is just double-clicking it, but if you've already modified the file, and you want to open the unmodified version of it, you can do it here. You can also revert a file. So if I've modded a file, so it's going to be like bold now here in the Data Explorer. And we can also click here, show only modified files, which is very neat. It's only going to show modified files. I can right click it, revert it, and then it should have closed itself automatically, and we can reopen it, and now it's back to the default state. We can also export and import. Now, this is very important. Listen to me. You don't want to right click, export and import here. I think I'm even going to remove these two buttons from here. I should. You should be using the two buttons up here. Very important. Because these actually provide the proper export settings and stuff. Or in general, whatever you're exporting. These two are actually going to provide the proper settings when you're exporting and importing. That is very important. So only use these two buttons up here. Honestly, just ignore these two right here, right? Openness graph is a blueprint editor feature, which some files supported, is a rigid mesh as it doesn't right now. But yeah. We can also see bundles. Now, I'm not even sure exactly myself what bundles are. As far as I know, these are like categories of assets which are loaded at a time. Like, not at a time, but you know what? I'm not even gonna bother explaining it. We have a search bar up here, which there's a lot of filters you can use. I'm gonna show them on the screen, I think. There, for example, you can look for type picture asset, and then it will only show files which are the type of texture asset. And these are textures that we can, look at when we open them. Top body, if I disable the map here, we can look at it. These are like also there's mainly different types of texture types. However, texture asset is the main one. So right now I opened Isaac suit level 1 suits lower body texture right here, pack 0, and there's the map options. When you don't want to see this checker box background, you can disable it. You can see the transparency being black, and you can also look, set map scaling. You can look at Minecraft texture, Minecraft version of it if you want at this point. And we can also look at the different channels of each texture. All these channels have a meaning, but we're going to get to that later in this series when we are discussing texture modding or making our custom model mods. But yeah, let's say I have made a little mod. We have earlier, if I disable this type right now, and let's just go ahead and find another file, just change something about it. For example, I'm gonna look at this physics asset, and I'm just gonna, you can see all the properties in these types of files, you can see all the properties here. If I remove something and save it, we can now click on compile. It will automatically create a backup for us in the game's folder. It will also ask us if our game is already modded. In my case, it's not. So it's not gonna ask. Eventually it's gonna show this message, mod installed, and then can like do it again and it will automatically apply the backup. So everything works, the mod is now already installed, which is pretty good. But yeah, thanks for watching. In the next video we're gonna be going over how to like make a simple mod first, a texture mod, and how to, well, compile it properly, have it work in game, and I'm going to be explaining everything that was also changed from the last tutorial series to now, because there are some differences, especially for users they're still using the Horgapped version, because that has a lot of things that were not fixed compared to this fork. So yeah, thanks for watching.